Welcome, Savvy. It's show number 16. This is
Wow.
great. You are very consistent with doing these shows with me and on my Healing Touch Vinyasa YouTube channel. So I appreciate you. Thank you
Yeah.
very much for being here again.
Yeah.
And yeah, today is a good day because we are talking about inflammation in the body and how significant that word is throughout the entire body.
Oh, yeah.
Entire body,
Yeah.
brain especially. We just were discussing how a lot of what society talks about with mental illness could be
Yes.
attributed to inflammation, and then
Absolutely.
gut, of
Yeah.
course, digestion
Yes.
issues.
Yes. Good point. Good point. Yeah. Via the vagus nerve.
Throughout the entire body. So, yes, that's our topic today, and I
Yeah.
can't wait to hear what you have to say. You always deliver, and it is part woo woo with me, and then
Yeah.
science
I
with
wouldn't call it woo woo. I mean,
data.
I love the fact that you bring in the emotional side of things, the mental side of things, the spiritual side of things, because it's all one package. We can't, and that's what I like about doing these is we're not going to just talk about our patches. You and I, full disclosure, we work together in light frequency patches, phototherapy, as it's called. But those aren't enough. We have to talk about all things health, and we do. And part of that is emotion. Men too, because people think generally out there in the public they're like women are more emotional than men. Men can be emotional too, and they should be. That's part of your health as well, not suppressing everything or anger. Men tend to have like anger, and women maybe they'll cry and the man is angry, but there's nothing wrong if a man cries either. A man can cry too,
Women,
and I think it's healing for them to do that, right? To be in touch with that. Because it's male and female can complement each other, right? They complement each other. But it's like hormones. Just like men and women both have testosterone and estrogen. We have the same hormones. It's just that men have more testosterone. That's all.
yep.
So these slides that we have today are based around one of our patches, the Aeon patch, which is known clinically to lower inflammation head to toe. Um, like, for example, what they call autoimmune, like lupus, fibromyalgia, rheumatoid, these types of things. All of it is based in inflammation. And so the Aeon patch lowers inflammation head to toe and relaxes the autonomic nervous system, the rest digest. Because I mean, think about it. How do you how can a person digest their food properly if they're really in fight or flight, angry while you're trying to eat? And I remember seeing this in my own family, somebody angry, yelling, trying to eat.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, 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 no. You're going to have the worst indigestion
Yes.
with this anger trying to eat. Okay. I mean, people in America eat too fast to begin with. So,
Right.
in some cultures out there, they're very conscious of their food. They maybe they give thanks over it as they eat slow. They're thinking about the flavors in the food, the textures in the food, right? And they appreciate it. It's like the French people. I remember being fascinated by the French people would go for small portions, high flavor, where Americans are eating big, huge meals and just shoveling it in their rat race, on the way to work, on the way home. They're too tired to make a nice meal. So now when I make my salads at night, because I'm doing intermittent fasting. Every day I eat dinner about 3 o'clock early, right? And then I don't eat anything solid for 16 hours roundabout. So it's an intermittent fasting lifestyle. But as I make these beautiful salads now, I found an olive oil that is so creamy, smooth, delicious, no bitter aftertaste, and really good olive oil, which is my dressing. I make this beautiful salad. It's got hemp seeds, walnuts, pecans. It's kind of a nutty, crunchy, beautiful salad with that olive oil. And you can't help but eat a little slower and savor all these flavors in the salad. And then you appreciate that you just ate something very healthy. Because
Love that.
now you're
That's so
feeding,
good.
you're not just eating, oh, I hit the spot. No, we're eating to nourish 100 trillion cells.
Right. And I remember when the girls were little, long time ago, because now they're 33 and 31, both
Wow.
with children. But when they were little, we had this yoga camp for them, a yoga camp for them. And one of the exercises was the food meditation. They had
Oh,
to
good.
sit and really savor their food. So yeah, in yoga tradition, there's a meditation exercise around food and taste. Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
That's very important, I think. Because I think here in America, especially in the rat race, people are not appreciating their food. Because some people don't have enough to eat, right? And some parts of the world, which is a travesty because there's enough food for everybody to eat. But because of political systems or whatever, there's a lot of people that don't get enough to eat. And we should appreciate that. So do I have the ability to share screen?
Yes, you are co-host.
All right, let's share screen. All right, this is blocking me.
There you go.
Okay, I want you to be very vocal and involved with me with this, okay? This
All
is
right.
why you and I do these together, because we're doing them together. And I want lots of your input with me, okay?
Yes.
And even though this is about this particular patch, and let me go ahead and just read the medical disclaimer, just how it is. We got to get it out of the way. It's ridiculous, but we have to do it. The information and the products that Ta and I are discussing here today are not meant to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. What we do here is we support the body's ability to heal itself. Okay, and we've covered a lot of our phototherapy patches already, you and I think we've done 39, 49, glutathione, carnosine. I don't even remember them all because, like you said, today is like number 16, right? And as we go through our podcast, we'll revisit with new information, patches we've even done before, or even herbs, whatever comes up, it's all things health. But I wanted to call this one Inflammation Nation because most of our slides are based around inflammation. And inflammation is behind every single health challenge. Name one. The medical community, the Rockefeller style medicine that's based on drugs, they give everything a name. Everything's got a name: asthma, Alzheimer's, bursitis, colitis, arthritis. Everything has an itis. And that way they give everything a name and then everything a drug. What we're doing here is we're going with the organics. I mean, we are organic beings. Why would I take synthetic chemicals and put them in an organic body? They don't mesh. Hence, pages and pages of side effects. So inflammation and stress. Aeon patch is anti-inflammatory and anti-stress. We just mentioned that. Balances the brain. We talked about mental illness could actually also be inflammation in the brain. Of course, you mentioned bipolar earlier. What about any of them? What about manic depressant? What about schizophrenia? They say, and I've heard other practitioners talk about these horrible mental illnesses going away with nutrients. They're lacking nutrients, chemical imbalance. It's a real thing.
Right.
You know, I
Absolutely.
mean,
I have two of my children were very sensitive to the dyes, and immediately it would create the inflammation in the body and in the brain specifically because they would not stop. It was a whole shift in their personality. Their personality transforms with
yeah,
the Doritos and the Cheetos.
yeah,
Same. And then people wonder why they have hyperactive children. It's
yeah,
the foods that they are eating. And it's uh, my own experiment. You know, we don't have it, then we go to a party and we have it. And then guess what? The kid is transformed into something else.
yeah. I've seen the studies on the artificial dyes, and the word you use, hyperactive, is one of them. They become it's a mood altering substance like the red number 40,
Yep.
right? And I remember someone in my family used to eat what they call red hots.
Yes.
They're like a candy, you know, red hots,
Yeah.
but they're bright red. And then you read on the box, red number 40, and other fake colors too. And you're like, no, you cannot eat these. And it reminds me of Jack LaLanne, who's the grandfather of fitness. He always said, if man makes it, don't eat it.
Yeah. That's the best.
You know, or somebody, when I was training people, physically training in the gym, they would ask me, do I read labels on foods? And the answer would be no, because I don't eat anything with a label on it.
There you go.
You know, of course, you know, even now they have apples have scanners on them. So, but the bottom line is, if we can calm the nervous system, because everybody's got the high cortisol, everybody has the adrenal fatigue, the adrenals are under attack. So, if we can use light therapy, bypass the GI tract with light, calm them down.
Yeah, I'm smiling. I'm smiling as you speak. I'm like, oh, if I only had my patches back then, I would have immediately put a patch on them and it would have
Yeah.
calmed them down. And this
Mm-hmm.
is truth because I have some of my partners who have children who are very active and hyperactive, we would say. I don't like to use labels, but the hyperactive child, we put the patch on and amazing stories. Oh, we had the most beautiful day at the beach. We used the patch. Everything was fluid and calm. And could it be the patches? Damn right, it's the
Yeah.
patches. Yeah,
Yeah. Absolutely. And,
yeah.
you know, again, to remind people why these are so important, again, I do it every time now. I want to quote Fritz Pop. Every second in the body, 37 billion chemical reactions. That is 37, 21 zeros every second. So the only thing that can handle that speed is light therapy. That's
Wow.
why it's so powerful, because it's the fastest way to get there, right?
Yeah.
Now, DHEA. Again, you and I talked about this, I don't know, in one of the podcasts. DHEA, you have to build testosterone. And testosterone puts pressure on bone marrow to release red blood cells for hemoglobin, for oxygen energy, which leads to energy being oxygenated, right? So DHEA is elevated by Aeon. That's good because we need to get to the red blood cell count for the hemoglobin for more oxygen. So that's a little side point.
Excellent.
43% of all adults suffer health effects from stress. I would even doubt it and say higher. I would even go higher than that to me. Because what does stress do to you? I mean, what would you say stress does? If somebody is under 60 hours a week at work, working under fake fluorescent light in a building with sick syndrome, you got all this outgassing from carpet, paint, furniture, and they're working under a stressful condition, say ER doctor, say air traffic controller, say fireman, whatever. This type of stress at 60 hours a week, what does that do to their health? What
Well,
is the
the first thing I think of is the breath. And we think of the training that a Navy SEAL has to stay
yeah,
calm with the nervous system. You know, they stress themselves out so much so that when there is a high stress situation, they can calm their nervous system. But most people are not trained in this way. We
no,
we are flight or flight, you know.
yeah,
So the breath, I would say the first thing that happened is the breath just gets so shallow and so short that they cannot even function. Nothing in the body is moving. Metabolism has shut down. No breath,
share,
no
so share
metabolism.
with me, how do you properly do this belly breath? How do you
Yeah.
do it?
I have videos on the YouTube channel, belly breath. Just go belly breath and you'll find it. But
Okay,
I have a beautiful one with a wonderful Japanese lady at my Nissan where she's laying down and you watch her belly rise and fall. So you start at the low belly and you practice there, and then you move to the mid belly. You practice focusing your intention there,
okay,
and then you go up into the heart, into the chest, into the ribs and the clavicles, and you expand there.
okay,
And then the mind says, oh, the pieces of the puzzle, I see, I feel. And so you fill up the container from the bottom to the top, and then empty the container from the top to the bottom, all while letting the whole torso kind of undulate in a wave formation. It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
okay. And so when they say breathe like a baby, so then the babies are naturally doing this. What happens as they get older? How do you get into this shallow breathing? What happens? Stress?
Yeah. I would say it's stress, fear. Am I performing? You're on the spot. You're afraid. Stage fright. You know, am I doing it right? Self worth. All of that.
And so, interestingly enough, as I study in the world of finance, because I study finance too, and the Rich Dad Poor Dad author, Robert Kiyosaki, who's written many, many books now, he talks about in regular public school with the grading system A, B, C, D, E, or A, B, C, D, F, that children are somewhat programmed into a fear that I might get an F rather than encouraging them to be more open and creative.
Yep.
They're in this structured programming in school and they're afraid of the grade they might get.
Yeah.
Can you see that? And whereas
Yeah.
some of the most genius people in history, they weren't good in school. They didn't even want to go to school. And they were very successful anyway. I find that interesting because I've heard somebody call schooling programming. Isn't that interesting?
Yes. Jaden, my 13-year-old, is not in public school. We are doing a non-traditional unschooling type of curriculum. So yeah,
Same
I'm
with mine.
I'm with you.
Same with mine as well. I think there's something to it. Okay, oxidative stress. So oxidative stress can come from environment outside and internal inside from what we just talked about. So imagine if you're on edge, afraid of failure, on edge, or you're being judged, right? Or you're being dominated against your will emotionally, right? Mental stress. You can have just the metabolic stress of running the engine of the body. So metabolic waste, which is normal, but added on to the other things, or the environmental, depending on where you live, the air quality, chemtrails, dumping stuff on you, all of it, drugs, prescription, alcohol, poor diet, on and on it goes. Well, oxidative stress, we could also call it rusting. You're rusting because oxidative stress on metal is rust. Oxidative stress on the sliced apple, it rusts, turns brown. Any of the food eventually starts to degrade. Oxidative stress is everywhere. So if we can use an Aeon patch and changes in our diet and breathing techniques, clean water, clean air, like the air doctor that I have right behind me, right here,
I
that
know, you
runs
inspire me. I need that.
24 hours a day, it runs. 24 hours a day. Now, if we're aware of it, that we're going to rust, then how do we knock the rust off daily? Daily, how do we knock the rust off? Well, we have to do it with a lot of tools, but today we're talking about our Aeon patch, of
Yeah,
course.
there's so many tools. Yeah, let me just forest walking, always feeling revitalized and refreshed after I walk in nature. That is
Oh,
one of the
yeah.
most important go-tos for me.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I love that. In fact, I'm a lover of trees.
Yeah.
I love trees. And I used to be an arborist. I was a guy that trimmed trees.
Oh, wow.
Did
Wow,
you
I
know
didn't
that?
know that. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was an arborist for, I don't know, 25 years.
You must
And
have
I
shared that with me before.
go
Yeah.
up into the tree. So now you're in the tree, you're part of the tree,
Yeah.
using ropes, saddles, and I would clean the tree out of dead wood.
Yep.
Sometimes you have to take a branch off because it's going to fall.
Yep. Or it's crisscrossing because you're not supposed to crisscross them, right?
Yeah. You know, it's going to, or it's already starting to rip, and you have to remove that. So they call it a tree surgeon.
So you are reducing your oxidative stress while you're doing your arbitrary. How do you say it?
Yes.
Yes.
Arborist.
Arborist.
Yeah, and so arborist, an arborist is just a tree guy, you know. But
yeah. Love it.
But what I despised doing was cutting a tree down.
Yes, of course.
I don't want to cut trees down.
No.
I want to plant more trees.
Yes.
So look at the normal cell. So the cell is made of 2 layers of fat. So it's a bilayer of fat. And as it sits here, it almost looks like an egg, you know. And then as we go forward, you see the damage that happens to the cell from stress. And we haven't even gotten into radiation pollution. What does that do to the cell? But there's so many things. So bottom line here is we're using tools to combat rusting. And the Aeon patch at least relaxes autonomic things you don't think about. Breathing, digestion, things that you're not even thinking about, but are taking place to keep you alive, right? So here we've got the silent killer and some of the symptoms of that. The headaches. The headaches I hear about quite a bit in my work. You mentioned constricted breathing and how bad that is. What about indecision, though? I mean, I have right now several close friends. I say several, really, it's around 3 that I'm worried about them. Literally, as I sit here now, I'm worried about them because it's obvious to me that their memory is getting really bad. As in, they can't find their car. Where did I
Wow.
park? Where did I
Wow.
park? Where did
Yeah.
I park? And they're getting anxious because they can't remember, or we were supposed to meet, they completely forgot. And I'm like, I can't believe they stood me up. They completely forgot.
Yeah.
Memory problems, right? So, what about substance abuse? How many people from stress turn to what? Alcohol. They
Yeah.
turn to that. And it's funny because people will drink alcohol, say they drink wine, 7, 8 at night. They're drinking wine and it makes them sleepy. They go to bed, but then they wake up because the sugar part of it wakes them up. So really it ruins their sleep, the alcohol. No rest, no repair. And I'll tell you, Tal, since I've been waiting on my house to be built, I'm living in an Airbnb, which is in the cellar. I'm closer to the earth. So I'm literally grounding while I live here. My sleep is even better than before because
Really? Oh, I
because
love
I'm
it.
I'm living in the earth,
Wow.
in the cellar.
Yep, they have the grounding mats that you can plug in and put on your bed. I haven't tried one yet, but that's the concept of grounding.
A
Getting
whole nother tool
yeah.
that we need to add. So as you and I cash flow, I mean, look how this is a win-win. We're doing what we would do for free, which is working in the world of holistic health. We would do it for free. That's how much we love it. Yet we do get paid though. And so as I take the cash flow from doing what I love anyway,
Sharing what will heal and help elevate our lifestyle. And so it's interesting that we talk about this. When I first started sharing Lifewave, my go-to, and it's still the number one patch, is our X39 patch, right?
yeah,
But what has been of most benefit is when you partner the X39 with the patch that we're talking about today.
oh
And that was
yes,
the biggest shift for me when I started sharing the technology, the light technology, our photo biomodulation patches, was that inflammation is the number one priority. The number one
yes,
priority, because if you're not reducing your inflammation, your stem cell therapy patch X39 will not function as optimally as it can. So the I do not recommend just X39. We do X39 and the Aeon patch when you're first starting, because
yes,
like this slide shows, stress is all of this,
and
fatigue,
more.
headaches, skin irritations, worry, indecision, just this restlessness.
Depression. How about depression? Okay, Todd, can you imagine this beautiful fall day? You have the fall colors, so it's beautiful to look at. It's around, say, 68 degrees, crisp, beautiful. You're out hiking, you're loving it, and yet there's somebody inside their house depressed.
Yeah,
They're not going out in there and loving this day. They're depressed.
yeah.
How
Yeah.
many people have
Or
taken their
or
own
working,
lives?
working, working, working so hard just to pay the bills that there's no time to go for a hike. What? That's a luxury. It's not a luxury. It is an essential tool for health and wellness. Yeah, it's hard.
100%.
Yeah, it's hard.
100%.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. I have my goals for already for 2024, and some of them are very physical, as in athletics. And you think about your knees, as you see in that one slide there, the knees. You think about the shoulder. See the shoulder there? If we're proactive as we get older, you can just keep going. You know, you can play pickleball. You can still be a runner in the foothills out in nature. You can still do all the yoga poses. You can still do Pilates. You could do it all because we have on purpose protected our joints. And when I think about joints now, we go back to this thing we did on water. Everybody's going to learn going forward that we have to stay super hydrated and oily, as in olive oil, omega-3, 6, 9, right? We have to stay oiled up and watery, because right now I'm doing a study on fascia. Fascia is really, we say that the skin is the largest organ, but technically really it's fascia, because fascia not only wraps you like saran wrap, but it also weaves throughout as well.
Of encasing every single muscle.
Everything. It's encased in everything, even the cells. So fascia is what helps you to be able to bounce and everything stays in place. It might move a little, but nothing, comes apart. It's like seeing Jello with fruit in it. So some people have made Jello and it's got apples in it, and the apples are suspended in the Jello. That's how our organs are suspended in fascia and water. But what kind of water? Structured water. So when we share these things and we try to add content into the podcast, we're trying to add new content and reminder content, because like you said, everybody's chasing their tail. We need reminders. Hey, slow down, breathe, structured water, stay hydrated, sleep good. Remember, doesn't do any good to chase a dollar bill if you can't even.
Yeah, it doesn't. And the next supplement and the next thing, it's our tools, but it comes from that inner terrain of discipline, the discipline to meditate, the discipline to do and to incorporate good habits in your life. Yeah, it's just frequency. You want to stay healthy. Do you have the enough self-worth to create this wellness frequency for yourself, or are you going to spiral down with
That's right.
Yeah, it's basically that self-love or self-hatred.
That's right. And you have to love yourself first. That's not selfish, because how can you be a lifeguard if you can't swim?
Oh, I know. This is it. This is really it. You got to.
So you have to love yourself and take care of yourself first. Now you're leading by example.
Yep.
And then I can actually help you because I'm healthy enough to where I can actually help you.
And I just want to go to frequency, because frequencies are contagious. Entrainment, experiment with the grandfather clock, and they're all ticking eventually in the same rhythm, in the same timing. So you're entraining those around you to your frequency. The highest frequency, the highest entrainment will affect everybody around them. So that's it.
That's right. And that's why when the first time I met you, and really it's anybody, if you're in tune with your vibration, the first time I met you, which is, I don't know, is that a year and a half ago, 2 years? I don't even know. But when I first met you, it's really within seconds It's right away that you have the, oh, okay, yeah, this is a good frequency. I think we're vibrating on the
Yeah.
same wavelength here. You know, that's a true thing. That energy is a true
Oh
thing.
yeah. And then we're creating a mastermind, Savvy. So
Uh,
be using that frequency that we resonate as truth, right? And then we amplify that frequency, and then anybody who's watching this gets some of that. Get some of
that's
that.
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's sort of the ripples in the lake when you drop the pebble, how it ripples out like that. Um,
Beautiful.
so now look at all this stuff. All this stuff, just call it inflammation. It doesn't matter all the names they give it. You know, oh, we're going to call it asthma. We're going to call it arthritis. It's all inflammation. And that's
Yeah.
what they do out there in the Rockefeller style medicine. They want to layer it and make it more complicated than it is.
Right. And then
It's just inflammation.
yeah, and then look at his position. How devastating is that? You know,
Yeah.
you get in that position in sorrow and grief, and you're going to immediately manifest these kinds of things in your body. You
Yeah. And
come,
look, notice how the brain in this
yeah,
slide, the brain is lit up.
yeah, yeah.
So look,
And
this,
we are powerful, we are open in our heart, and then all of a sudden the mood changes with your posture. So yeah.
so notice here with the Aeon patch, and this is autonomic. This is a 10-minute before and after, 10 minutes. Within 10 minutes, we have a calm, free state, 10 minutes. Okay, this is big. And I will
Yeah.
tell you, when we get into what's called C-reactive proteins, C-reactive protein markers in the blood are more indicative of heart disease than cholesterol, way more indicative than
I think
cholesterol.
cholesterol is a fallacy, right? Didn't
I
you?
think so.
Yeah, you know that story. The
Yeah,
time.
I do. But C-reactive protein, so, is a better marker of heart disease than cholesterol by far. So look, if we can lower inflammation head to toe without thinking about it, because question, can we wear the Aeon patch to bed?
I do.
You can, right? We can wear it to bed. So you can, it's one of the only patches you can wear during the day or night, doesn't matter. Can you wear two of them?
I haven't tried that, but I've had my latest Betsy. She's like, "Can I wear? This is so amazing. I feel it. Can I wear two?" And I'm like, "I guess so. Go ahead."
You can wear two because, and when you wear two, you can wear them touching each other.
Okay,
And
I'll let her know.
it's called butterflying,
Okay.
right? Or the kissing technique. Whereas, say, for example, you really jacked your neck up. Like,
Yes,
for example, some people have a habit of sleeping on their face,
I
on
think
the
that might
pillow.
be me.
Like, I
Yeah.
saw a commercial yesterday of a guy laying down because he was sick, but his neck was jacked up on the pillow,
Yeah.
right?
Good.
It happened to my mother as well, by the way. So, say your neck is jacked. You can take two Aeons and they're touching, not on top of each other, but side by side on the spot, and it becomes kind of like an ice wave
All right. And now
and
here's
double.
the ice wave that Savi's talking about is there's a specific Lifewave patch that is called light ice wave that is for pain. So you're saying it's specifically using two, kissing together, kissing
Yes, kissing.
will be effective in reducing pain.
Yeah, I've never forgot. Is it Susie Ellen? I forget her name now, but her testimonial she did on her rotator cuff. She didn't have ice wave. She did the kissing technique 2 Aeons, and the 1 Aeon brought the pain down from a 10 to a 7. But then with the kissing technique, it went to a 0,
Wow.
to a
Excellent.
0, and did not
Okay.
come back.
All right. I'll
Did
have to
not come back.
remember that.
Okay, now, so Anybody watching? And of course, the list can be way bigger than this. Do you experience any of this? Because I know insomnia, poor sleep is an epidemic. I know that worry is an epidemic. I know that autoimmune and chronic fatigue are epidemics. These are epidemics. And even with young people, very young, 21, 22, 23, already they have anxiety. Because look at the economy. They can't buy a house right now. They can't buy a house. It's ridiculous. Interest rate 7.5%, $800,000 homes. Come on. So all of this, think about it. If we can relax the nervous system, lower inflammation head to toe, and that gives us time now to work on the adrenal glands with diet and herbs and things like that, because we need to get the adrenal glands up, because in my experience, every single autoimmune, they call it autoimmune, is leaky gut and low adrenals. That's where we get our natural steroids, from the adrenal glands, right? What does the medical community have for you? What are they going to do for you? Steroids, drugs. I mean, what do they have? Their menu is very small. They don't have this stuff on their menu over there. They want to keep you, they'll turn you into an ATM machine. They'll throw you to this specialist and then that one, and then let's try this specialist over here. You know, the body is a unit. We don't just let's just isolate the liver only and give it a drug. So look, game changer, clinically proven, clinically proven, clinically proven. Where do they go to find these studies? Go to startx39 now.
Right.
Scroll down. There they are. Click on that. Look around. Yeah. We're not making it up. So let me ask you something. Kind of like with the X39. If it's only light, nothing goes in the blood. It's only light. How do they prove it then with blood? Isn't that interesting? So they prove it with blood work that these particular amino acids are elevated. Yet it was only light. Well, we always just use the sun as the analogy. How does sunlight work? There's no life on Earth without sunlight. How do plants create chlorophyll from just light? How do humans manufacture vitamin D3 in the body? Just from light.
I would say that sun is the very first raw material.
It is.
Raw material. You talk about raw materials.
That's actually profound. What you just said is actually profound. That is correct. So really, if we eat plants, especially if they're in mineral-rich soil, we are actually eating sunlight.
Right, yes. Yeah, you talked about that. And the best I love is the orange juice. Oh, liquid sunlight. Liquid sunlight.
Liquid sunlight. So amazing. And structured water.
It's structured water. Yes. Yes.
So now let's talk about this just for a second. Notice down here, raises DHEA and SOD. What is that? SOD, superoxide dismutase. So we did a show on glutathione.
Yes.
But guess what backs up glutathione? Superoxide dismutase. And what backs up that? Catalase. 1, 2, 3, king, queen, prince, antioxidants made by the human body, or they should be made by the human body.
Right. So it's a very simple concept. The antioxidant, a lot of people don't know this. Antioxidant is what helps eliminate the oxidation in the body. Very simple.
Yes. 100%.
So what Savy is talking about is the antioxidant.
So I just saw this earlier today, actually. If a body is under massive stress and massive oxidative stress and worry and tension, can I scientifically say then that they're actually burning through whatever nutrients they do have even faster.
Right. They are. Absolutely.
So they're burning through them even faster because they're under so much stress that you're burning up the nutrients faster than you could get them in.
Absolutely. Yes.
Because the foods they're eating aren't really nutrient rich typically. The soils are depleted. So really our patch is a great way to try to intercept that. And then with knowledge.
And maximize our
Yeah.
nutrition.
And then we train them, we educate them on, no, you got to eat this now.
Yeah, this is really good. I think people may have missed that. So what Savy is saying, that when we are stressed and in ill health, that we take in all the supplements and all the nutrients and we're saying, oh, okay, we're going to get healthy. And this is being assimilated in the body. Not true. Why? Because inflammation and oxidative stress is making us require more and more and more and more.
Exactly.
You calm the body through all of our tools, but specifically what we're talking about right now is the Aeon patch. Simple patch, you put it on, calm your body, and now everything that you're taking, all those supplements that you think are working, are going to work. I don't know. Do you want to say 70 times better? I don't know.
Well, look, I mean, if we're relaxing rest, digest, and now you calm the person down and they learn to eat in relaxation and peace, eat in a quiet spot, not in this rush job. Eat, enjoy, taste the flavors, the textures, bless the food, pray over it, appreciate that you actually have this food, eat it in peace. Granted, you should assimilate it better.
Yeah.
And then if we do have leaky gut, we have tools for that, right? If you do have low adrenals, we have tools for that, like herbs, as an example, ashwagandha. If your hormones are jacked up, we have tools for that. It's not that the patch is the be all end all. It's a tool. And then we need to add in the diet changes and things like that. And look, if people out there, whoever watches this, if you would like a private consultation, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to offer that now.
Yeah.
Private consultation.
Right. And I love that, Savy, but I think we might be able to do a few people at once, you know, a Q&A.
A Q&A. Let's keep it to a maximum of 20 people, maximum.
Okay, 20
because when I do my Monday night thing, it's about 20, and that's just about enough.
Okay, for questions. Great. All right.
And then it can still take 2 hours. So if we're going to keep it.
Let's do that.
Short and sweet.
We already have requests for it. Somebody on YouTube requested, I want to be on the next Q&A. Yes, you're on.
Okay, good. Okay. Stress, inflammation. Okay, we know this. It's just a summary.
Okay.
Right. Now, when you have pain anywhere, obviously that's inflammation that's now screaming at you. So the pain, when you have the pain, it's screaming. But you can have the underlying systemic crock-potting, slowly coming to a boil inflammation every day. And then when you feel it, now it's screaming at you.
Let me just share with you how incredible that concept is. So I have a metal cap in my mouth, not good. 13-year-old metal cap on a root canal. And so I went to a holistic dentist, and that is festering. There is signs of infection in that upper root, you know, due to the metal affecting, you know, everything. So that's an example of how, if I let that sit, it's going to cause a problem. So it's an underlying inflammation. So I wear my Aeon on my ear, and I've been putting X39 here, but I do have to get a root canal removed. So I'm going to do an extraction. I don't
Yes.
believe in root canals anymore. They're not
No.
good.
No.
Not
In fact, every single case of root canals always end up negative, it seems. In
yeah.
fact, somebody that I know personally had one, and it ended up becoming an infection into the bone,
Yes.
into the jaw,
Yes.
and now it's a surgery, and they have to ozone it out and
Right.
all of this, and
Not
so
good, 'cause I can't feel it. All I feel is maybe some tension and headache up here a little bit.
right, it's
But
silent.
yeah, it's a silent thing that's going on. So anybody with root canals, please get them checked out with a holistic dentist, not with
That's
a
correct,
yeah.
and it does have to come out. I've taken out two myself. Um,
You have
yes, the whole dental industry is a whole nother quackery. There's a whole nother, I mean, when you see a dentist office like on every block, which they are, I mean, there's like one on every block. I mean, something's going on
yeah,
in that crazy world too.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
That's not the
So
world's greatest thing.
if you have a root canal, please put your Aeon patch on there until you decide to take your root canal out off.
And I don't care what it costs. Get it out. All right.
All
So
right.
look, here's a little synopsis. Which of these have we done, Ta? The medicine of the future is going to be frequency. So what do we got here? We did carnosine, right?
Yep, we did carnosine. I love it. I haven't even tried the carnosine patch yet, but I will. Glutathione, of course, and that is the patch that gets the most amount of accolades, I would say. When I turn people on to the glutathione, they're like, oh my gosh, mental clarity, energy. Yeah.
Wow.
So that was one. But then the other one who had dental issues, glutathione was clearing and helping her detox from the dental issues, which was not comfortable. So a lot of binders, and we have a whole show on that, on how to help when you're using glutathione to increase your binders and make sure that all the yucky stuff is moving out of your body through the additional I don't know, how do you describe binders in a very layman's term?
I would consider them janitors. Like when you use the binders, they're like janitors. They come in and grab on and actually take the stuff out,
Everybody, yeah.
right? So they're not just sweeping it under the rug. They're literally cleaning it up, vacuum up, take it out.
Out of the body, yeah.
So it doesn't just recirculate.
Yep.
That's so important. I mean, how are we going to clean up if we don't take it out? I mean, it's got to come out,
And
right?
even just an apple, you're like, oh, I'm overwhelmed by another thing. Just eat a freaking apple.
Yeah.
Apple.
Or you guys, if you're in a super rush, blend it in the NutriBullet and drink it. So you're driving to work, drink it. Okay. So this is some of the other light frequency patches that we work with. And the future is going to be frequency medicine. If you go back to 1896, Nikolai Tesla said it would definitely be, and he was working on it then. So technically, it's not new. It's just been suppressed like everything else. Anything that works, it's not in the Rockefeller model of drugs. You don't hear much about it because that's by design. And so we do these things to educate and add value. I'm going to hit stop share. And inflammation nation. That's what America is.
So I just want to share that Jackson's been helping reduce inflammation. Where are you, Jackson? Hi, Jackson. He's right.
Yep, and Jackson provides you with Aeon.
Yeah, service dogs do that for
They do.
people. Yep. Oh, and yes.
Just petting a creature lowers stress.
Yep.
I think that's by design too, by the great designer. And it gives you.
Right, and I think that's enough. People are probably going, "Oh my gosh, when's this going to end?" But yeah, we love
we're
it.
right at an hour. We're about.
Are we? Oh, good. See, you have that internal clock. You're good.
Yeah, we did it. So that's number 16 done.
Good. All right. So follow all the links to get your patches down below, and contact us if you have any interest in being on our Q&A. I'll put you on the list and put you in our Zoom. And
When do you want to do that?
thing. I love that idea.
When do you want to do the Q&A? You want to do it in September?
Yeah. You don't want to do it next week, so let's do it the week after.
Yeah, let's do it the week after.
Yeah.
That
So
gives us plenty of time.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Have a wonderful day. Any last thoughts that are comments?
No, I just I think it's so important to add value and content like this so that people know that there are other options out there. It's amazing how illiterate the world has gotten as regards holistic health practices. You know, you don't see things like this on a television commercial. It's always just the drugs. Ask your doctor if this is right for you.
Right.
They've gone to marketing directly to you now. And so now people will go in to their doctor and ask for the drug they saw on television. And so it's good that we do this, and I hope that it helps. That's why we do it.
Even if it starts people asking questions.
That's right.
Is the first step. And feeling the frequencies, like we talked about, the nutrition that can be literally electromagnetic frequencies that just pulse out.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I like the hands. The hands were good on that. Yeah, I like the hands on it. It was very good. Okay.
Savy, thank you so much. Yeah.
Are you going to post this today or?
Yep, very soon.
Today. Okay. All right.